Hello and welcome to another video. Today we are going to go through getting the solid demo app running on WebOS, which is LG brand TV. And I have the demo app working and deployed to my TV, so I'm going to show you how to do that. The first thing that you're going to need to do is go to WebOS, create a developer account, and download the developer mode app. So this is an app that you have to install on your TV. So here's the TV running with the developer mode. It is an app that you have to download and install through the, I guess, LG store. And then once you install it, you have to log in with your user credentials. So make sure you know what your user credentials are on WebOS. I recommend a short password because you have to enter it in through your remote, which is kind of frustrating. And then once it's installed, you'll have this screen where you get the IP address of the TV, so you know where to connect to. And you can turn it on dev status. That's basically it. That will ask you to reboot the TV. Once developer mode is enabled, you're then able to connect to it and move on to the next step. So developer mode is enabled, then we go into Developer Studio. So again, I like to recommend that you use Visual Studio Code, which is what I am using. There is a plugin called WebOS Studio. So you can install this, Command-Shift-P, go WebOS or install extensions, look for WebOS Studio, install it. Then once it's installed, make sure you also do WebOS install global packages, and that will install the CLI for WebOS. And that will give you everything that you need. From there, we have our known devices. You can add a device. So I added my TV here. I don't know why it's prisoner, but I think that's just their username for it. But this is the IP address of the TV that we saw earlier. And so now we have all the pieces in place that we can actually install our app. So what I did in the demo app is I created an LG folder, and I did it pretty much exactly the same as what I did for the Tizen build. So I'm going to go through that in my package.json. Here is the new command that I added for build LG. So very similar to build Tizen. We are building, we're same base, we're setting the output directory to LG rather than Tizen. And then I'm also doing the Aries package to actually make it an IPK as well. You don't have to do this all in the same command. You could do it in a separate command, up to you. But essentially now what we can do is we can go back into here. We can do a pm build LG, which is what this is doing down the bottom. I'm going to hide the TV for a second. All right, so now the app is built. It created an IPK in here. Then you have to cd into the LG folder. So here I'm in the LG folder, and then you want to run Aries install, the name of the IPK, and then the destination where you want to install it, which is the TV. So this will actually install it on the TV. And now if we go back to the TV, so here's the TV, we can actually back out of this app, go back to the home. It installs the app all the way to the end. So you can see I have, this is what the developer mode app looks like, is this wrench. And then the solid demo app here. Now I'm going to click OK. We'll see how long that takes to load up. It takes a few seconds, but eventually it does load up. And I also opted for, so this is actually running on the device as an installed IPK. What I would recommend is do it in a hosted version, which would deploy it somewhere on the cloud, and then you could just have your index.html redirect to the hosted application. But if you want to install all the packages locally, definitely this works too. So it's installed now. You can see it running on the box. This is a 720p LG TV. I think it's running WebOS 5, but it is an older TV. It is one of the slower models. And even on the slower model, you'll notice we're getting, above 30 FPS. So if I go into a TV show, boom, almost instant loading of the TV show. Go to movies, like super snappy experience, which I love. We can go into this other TMDB example, but everything's working. So this is great. Very happy about that. And let's go back into the code. Switch back. And the big thing that I want to point out was You definitely want to customize your targets. So before I had Chrome 38, which this is the lowest level, right? So this will target all your TVs. The problem with Chrome 38 is this TV will use that legacy version as well. Um, but it supports, it's above Chrome 49 for this TV, which means Chrome 49 is where you get classes and you get like a 50% performance boost by targeting Chrome 49 Plus. Like it is a huge difference. So I highly recommend that you have different builds for different versions of TVs as well. And I think that's all. Oh, no, there's one last thing. I almost forgot how to do inspecting. So debug mode. This is another important thing. I'm going to get the Brave browser started. So again, you cannot use the latest version of Chrome if you have an older TV. You need to do something like Brave or download another browser, which the LG will have links to different Chromium versions. And then in order to do debug, all we have to do is res-inspect. Yes, so inspect, open the destination of the TV and the name of the app that you want to inspect, which is com.example.soliddemo. And where we got that name from was, I'll just open that up real quick too. In order to create your initial app, what I did was I just created an LG folder. And then inside the LG folder, I added a app.info.json. And this is all you need. So you can just copy paste this in. This is the name of the app or the ID of the app. And then you also have to make sure you have an icon and a large icon for it to display when it boots up in the icon that you can click on. So here we started the debugger. It launched in our default browser, which is this Chrome. So we're going to click on this. I'm going to drop this into the Brave browser. And it gives you a different port each time, which is the thing. That's the only reason you need to copy that URL. Otherwise, you could just reuse the same one. And now I have a developer mode open, and I can actually do a timeline here. I can do screenshots, memory, and let's switch to showing the TV at the same time as well. So now we can see a timeline. I'm going to hit record on here, and I can move around on the screen. And the screen's going to be slightly slower because it has to do all this logging now. But now I can stop. And this will process a timeline. And we can now debug on the device. So we can see how long the performance takes. We can go into console, see if there's any console messages of images that are undefined or null. Fix those things up. But the timeline is also, like, you see a lot of yellow, but it's not that bad. Because it's a lot of yellow processing in under 30 milliseconds. So it's a whole lot of looping to do animations and everything. But overall, pretty smooth experience on this. Again, I'm getting 30 plus frames per second. And overall, not bad. And like always, if you have any questions or anything else you want me to cover, feel free to like, subscribe, post a comment. Happy to follow up with other videos. Take care.